All right, today I want to talk about 3D printing quadcopter frames or drone frames, whatever you like to call them. I've been wanting to build a quadcopter for a very long time, for 4 or 5 years. So I, since I got that 3D printer, I was like, well, why would I spend like 20, 30, 50, or even $100 on a frame, and with the chance of something breaking, because something will break if you're gonna fly a quad. Something will break eventually because you're gonna hit a tree or, a ghost limb, as they say on the FPV futures. But yeah, something will break. So wouldn't it be awesome if I can just 3D print my frame, already have the files. If I break something, it's going to be printed in like what 20 minutes maybe. Depending on what it is. If it's a whole thing, it's probably going to take 2 hours or something if everything is broken. But anyway, so I started designing a 3-inch quadcopter because I think that's where I want to be, because then I can hit the legal limits and or be under them and not be required to license and all that stuff. So I started with this type of arm. I don't know. It's my first try. Okay? So I was like, yeah, I figured out I tried thinner. I think this is 3 mil. I think it is. Because I tried thinner. Yeah, there's 3 mil. Focus. Oh, here. 3 mil. I tried 2. It was too flimsy. And I figured, like, okay, 2 is not gonna do anything. So I went to 3 as my base measurement. Everything is 3 or more. 3 mil, which is like an eighth of an inch. Oh, and now I can also disclose why I'm doing this video, because I've been saving all this stuff to make a video, so that I can actually break it and then, and then I can throw it away. All the stuff that I tried over many months. So let's see, how strong is this quad arm? So this would attach to the frame, to the main body, and here the motor would attach. Well, the more experienced amongst you would notice that there's a significant flaw, and that flaw repeats a few times because the the rotor axis, there needs to be a hole right there. So that took a few iterations to figure that out. So let's see how this works. 3 mil PLA. It's pretty strong, but I can break it. I think. Did I just get weak over the last year? Oh no, there you go. 3 mil. 3 mil, no big deal. So then I was like, oh, okay. 3 mil, not good enough. And I think I went to 5 mil. I don't know why. I don't know why I went to 6 mil. Instead, I think this is 5. Can you see that? Yeah, 5 mil. So obviously, bigger, better, higher number, more better. So I made it out of 5 mil. It's basically the same shape as that. And I don't think I'm going to break this. I can bend it, but I'm not going to break it. No, I'm not going to break it. No. Not going to happen. Not right now. I need some special tools or something, or like lever it. But this gave me more confidence. Like, oh, okay, I can make something 5 mil, and then it's pretty strong. And then even, if I mean, this is just me with my hands putting pressure, but of course, if I'm gonna hit this at like what 60 miles an hour or 100 kilometers an hour into a tree, of course it's gonna break. But that's the whole point. I can print this in 30 minutes for, I don't know, how much is this? I think it's like a couple of grams, so it cost me like a couple of cents. So then in between, I also thought like, oh, what if I use the thicker structure, like the 5 mil, but I hollow it out, because maybe the strength all comes from these edges. Well, it has a bunch of issues, but let's see. Oh no. A lot of the strength also comes from the rest of the from the rest of the material. I should have got a trash can here. That would have been better, but the floor is trash can. So this one, best one so far. Boom. It bends a little bit, but it doesn't break. Cool. So now I needed a frame. So then I printed these. Okay. So what I wanted to do was, you have these micro boards for your flight controller and all that stuff, and your FPV gear, and what else do you have? Yeah, ESCs, that stuff. The micros are like 20 mil. So I just started out in SketchUp. I use SketchUp for all my 3D prints and everything else, and all my 3D designs. So I just started out with a 20 by 20. So I just drew like that as a square. And then you also have the normal size boards for flight controllers and everything, and ESCs. And those are, oh yeah, those are 30.5. But so I drew another one around that, so I can, use either. Well, if you want to go sub 250, you really have to go to the 20 mil, to these tiny boards. I found out when I added up the weight of all the parts. So the idea was like, okay, I want to fit. I need room for my camera, and then my flight controller, and maybe my video transmitter, and I need room for straps to strap on a battery, and I need to keep it light, so have a lot of holes, and so I connected, because the stresses, when it hits something, the stresses are going to be between the holes where stuff connects. So what I wanted to do, let me take back that arm. I wanted to connect one here, one here, one here, and one here. And then you can imagine, just like the line up, yeah. It's flying, it hits something, boom. Then the stresses from this screw that's going to tie these together are gonna go here and here. It's gonna, you see, it's gonna go here. And if it goes the other way and it pulls and everything. So I wanted to connect these diagonally so they stay together. Okay, so yeah, that's that. And then also you need a place to mount some antennas. So these are mostly for battery straps, depending on how big they are and whatever. I don't think a battery this big will work for the 250 gram limit, but. And then I designed a top plate. Has a little. It's pretty much the same. Has a little hole here for your antenna, so you're. It's been a while. It's been since last summer since I looked at this stuff, so I forgot all the terminology. But this is the size of those connectors for your antennas, for your video antenna, and then this is on a 45 degree angle, so you can put a zip tie on here for your remote, for your RC antennas that go this way and this way. If you keep those at a 90 degree angle, that works best. And then you can put your FPV antenna here or bend it over or whatever. But then also you need your FPV camera. So if you're gonna make it like this, like a old school double-decker, your camera, you're gonna be flying like this, so your camera needs room to point up. So that's why I made this cutout. But later I figured out that even this wasn't enough, but I'll show you in a little bit when I show you the final product. So I had this arm. Oh, let me get this one back. Yes. So I had this arm, and then I figured out that if I have this and this, and there wasn't enough room for the props to clear. So then I made another version, and it's like this. And then if I have two of those, now I have the right clearance. So as you can see, this still has the critical flaw. There's no hole there for the rotor axis, or whatever you call it, a motor shaft. Oh, that's what it is, motor shaft. And then I found, yeah, and then I figured out, like, I looked at the pictures and I was like, oh dang, there's like a little seat on the bottom of the motors. There's like the motor shaft and a little C-clip, so you need to make space for that. But then I also heard from the reviews from some of them that the C-clip sometimes comes off. So what I thought, like, instead of making a hole big enough for the C-clip to go through, I just made a hole big enough for the rotor shaft to go through, and then a hole big enough to give space for the C-clip. But if it, in a crash or something, it just shakes loose, it will still be in there, and I won't lose it, and I won't have to buy new C-clips. Oh, it's a little shiny in the camera. This may be better. Yeah, so you can see that. That's the cool thing about 3D printing, that you can make anything you want. Maybe I should reinforce this with, because if anything happens, it's gonna hit either here or here or here or here, and there's gonna be so much force just trying to rip these bolts out. It's going to, if you impact here, it's going to pivot here and it's going to try to tear this one out. So that's also why you have those X's there. But so for a while I thought maybe this is necessary, but I'm like, I might add them later, but I'm gonna try without, because the way it turned out right now, the final product, I I still haven't bought my electronics yet, and I really want to. Wish that next stimulus check comes and I can build it. But yeah, I think I'm gonna, if it breaks too easily, then I'm going to add some reinforcement on the bottom. Now that we've gone through that whole story, let's look at the final product. Center, 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 center. Boom. We're dealing in grams for all the other people that are not in the United States. Oh, I need to adjust my camera a little bit. Ooh, do you see that? Only 60 grams. It's not that bad, right? Let's put it like that. Yeah. So, my back's starting to hurt. Sorry, get my chair. So I still have a very similar frame as what I had before. So very similar to this. I just changed those cross beams because of I guess also gives more mounting options, and also maybe a little bit stronger. This one doesn't have the antenna hole or the mounting for like your FPV antenna, in case you want it on the bottom or you want to route it a different way. So I added that here, so you can either add like your FPV antenna and your receiver antennas here, or you can do it on top, or you can do it in the middle. Doesn't matter. So I'll just like options. I just like options. So yeah, I didn't use those cross braces. I'll see how it goes. Once this thing flies, then I'll see how it goes. Also, one change that I made from these brackets, you see that these are just full height. I made these half height, so there's a little gap there, because otherwise you're just blocking that battery strap gap that I purposefully designed. So this is so you can still get the strap in. It's like 2.5 mil gap. So that's one thing. And yeah, you have this the same here, same here. And I just got these standoffs. These are 20 mil, I believe. Where's my... Oh. Yeah, 20 mil standoffs on Amazon, and some M3 hex bolts also on Amazon. Not the cheapest ones, of course, that you can find. And here too. Yeah, I think it looks pretty good. Even though it looks dated, maybe because people are doing all these fancy frames right now. I think it looks cool. Practical mostly. And this. Okay, so let's try to break the frame. this is probably very breakable. Let's try the other one because I don't want to see it again. Oh yes, very breakable. But now that it's bolted together in 8 places, this is not really going to do a lot. And if anything, so it just flexes a little bit, but it will just make sure that it survives. If it was super brittle, then it would break on the first impact. Oh yeah, last thing, what I talked about the camera here, the camera cutout, it's not big enough. Yeah, you can't make a decent angle. If you want to put your camera in like a safe place, like you want your lens to be behind this bumper and this, and you still want to create an angle, you need a bigger hole here. So now I can get it to 45. I'm not gonna use it to 45. I'm probably gonna do like a 30 or something more like this, because I don't do drone races, okay? So I'm just, you know, floating around 20 or 30, whatever. So you need a bigger hole for your lens right here. Yeah, and did I cover everything? I think I did. So here you go. Standoffs, screws, top and bottom deck, 4 arms, 60 grams. I think it's pretty cool. Thanks.